you've got that in front of you as well as up here. On the page 2, I'll give you a comparison between enrollment and transfer in, and you will see, this is, where are my notes? I got the wrong one. You will see that we have an increase from 2017 to 2024-25 of about 41 kids. Excuse me, 41%. We have 440 kids this year that were transferred in. If you figure we have around $7,500 per student, that comes to quite a bit. Overall, we get around over $7 million for just our education basic tuition. And so I think that the 440 bring in about $3.3 million. The next page is non-resident enrollment in of itself, and you will see that it's just a continual uptick. But every spring, our numbers go down. And so we lose enrollment from October to February every year. We lose it in non-residents as well, not just residents within our district. The next page is transfers out. These are the number of students that go to St. John the Baptist. And those who go to St. John, brings the next page. We have around 26 kids. And that's been consistent last year and this year, but it doubled from 2022-23 to 23-24. I don't know why. These are our transfers out on page 5 to the Hannah Academy of Science and Technology, and that's a charter school. But we're only looking at 10 to 11. And that seems fairly consistent. In 2017, there were 14, then it went down to 7, and then back up. So it's not that many. On page 6, you have fall transfers out. Parent choice are those parents who send their kids to some other public school. Charter schools, you're familiar with, there's nothing in Hammond, but charter schools like the Hammond Academy is. Choice scholarships are those that send their kids to private or parochial schools because they're getting assistance in meeting that tuition. So you will see that we have quite a few in charter, and this past year were the choices. Again, we went from 123 to 120 spring transfers out, which means some may come back. On page 8, there is fall transfer changes, so I was looking to see. We had 440 transfers in and 123 transfers out, which meant that we really had around 317 was the difference. So you will see that since 17-18, the difference was 221 to 317. So almost 100 more students now than we did back in 2017 coming in. And then same thing for the spring. Again, you'll just see that it goes down a little bit, but you get the same upward trend. So what this really means is we want to capture more students. And the last meeting we talked about 44 kids could come into 9th grade. 44 kids in and of themselves will not come into 9th grade. We've got to have some marketing. Why should they come here as opposed to going to someplace else? Any questions? Please, next one, Lord. Thank you, Dave. That's it for me.
Director of Finance report.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
A new face over here, right?
Yep.
So districts provide that report every 6 months to the Department of Ed. And reporting it every 6 months allows the ability for them and us to provide a calendar year report, a fiscal year report. So fiscal year is school year, which is July to June. And then we can also provide a calendar year report, which our budget for our levy on our tax funds are calendar year as well. So it's beneficial for us and for them that we provide this every 6 months. The report I put in for this time is a calendar year because I thought that was most like, it wouldn't be good for me to provide a 6 months report. So this is a full calendar year of all things school district for Wyden. If you open it up, you'll notice page 1 and 2 provides an all fund report. And so what that means is the report of all year by fund at the beginning cash balance, revenues, expenses, and then your ending cash balance. So this is just a summary on the first 2 pages. You guys don't have that in front of you? Should I print it for you? I didn't know, I thought you guys would have it electronically. I apologize. Okay,
It was
so,
uploaded in the docs.
okay, so it was in doc delivery. So if you want to go back and look, first and second page is summary by fund. And then if you go to the third page, it shows all of the debt that we paid in 2024. So that's a very informative report to know what we're paying for that year in our debt. And then on the third page, or fourth page, it breaks down by fund in more detail of what the expenses were for the whole year. So it'll list education fund, all the revenues broken out in more detail. And then it'll provide the expenses all by detail as well. So this is a report that we can extract fiscally by calendar year or for any year that you want. We've been providing this for a very long time in this format. The next report is the month-end financial report. And I was keeping in step with what had been provided in the past. So I also, if you notice on the report, for those of you that might have it, I provided an index so you could follow along with what was included in the packet. So page 1 is all the financial data for January 2024 by fund, beginning cash balance, revenues, expenditures, and then ending cash balance. So you can see where we're at for the month of January, because we are in the first month of the calendar year budget. Then on page 3, you'll notice that I've provided an education fund in the same way, again, for the entire month, and then a year to date. So we'll continue to provide that by month and then year to date to be able to capture the appropriations as they're spent down, and then a percentage is provided by month. The same, there's a debt service report, and it provides that January balance. We haven't paid anything in our debt for January. We'll pay most of the 6-month debt obligations in the month of June. Those are when they're usually due for the first 6 months. And then the operations fund as well is broken down by detail, and you can see how much of the appropriation is remaining in the operation fund. And I think typically this is the same information that is provided to the board every month. But the cafeteria report is what is a report that follows through on page 5. It indicates at the top what we spent by month for the month of, this is a fiscal report. I'm keeping again in what's been done, past practice here by Kim is its fiscal year. So this report provides, since July of '24, what we've spent by account in the expenditures in cafeteria, what revenue we've taken in. It also shows on the bottom left-hand corner, we have a student account where money is received in, and then at the end of the month, what's been spent, we transfer over into the cafeteria report, and that's the prepaid student account. So it gives all the stats on where we're at with that since fiscal year of July. And then finally, at the end, you see extracurricular for each one of the buildings. So we have the high school extracurricular report for January 2025. The middle school is in here. The elementary school goes over from Nathan Hill. And we also have the pay-to-play extracurricular report. It provides what we received in, again, what we've spent, and then the cash balance. The concession report and the athletic report. So if you go back and you have any questions, once you go to look at these reports, let Dr. Howe know and we can answer any questions you might have. All around, I think the funds look really good. It's only the first month of the calendar year into the budget year, but I think it's consistent with what you would expect. So, if you have any questions, let us know.
Would you like to have those reports printed?
Yeah, I kind of thought we would follow through.
I don't know about you, but when I look at them online, I tend to print mine out so I can look at them and highlight and do that kind of thing.
I don't see it on here either.
It's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on here.
Did you log in with your?
Who knows?
So when you come, would you like them printed out before you come here, or would you like them just printed out here to have here?
If I got something to look at here with some time.
Okay,
I need
we'll do that.
if you go into agenda, and then you'll see an attachment, so scroll down. And then under
So
each
how
report,
much
you can pull up what's
training
provided.
or professional development have you all had about how to read the different accounts or the funds or anything like that? So when she's talking about appropriations and budget, it's all, okay.
I have zero.
You've had zero, Tom?
I know that, yeah, being a math teacher, that's not it.
Okay.
And in the past, she would break it down, so I mean, got used to looking at it, so I mean, I
Okay.
understood like that.
Okay. All right. How much have you, professional development have you guys had regarding the budget appropriation? So the things that she's talking about, having an understanding of.
Yeah, we got
You've
that.
had that, okay. All right. So maybe we can have you come in and talk with Lisa and go over that so you have a better understanding next time. Okay, we'll
Well,
set
I
it.
think I understood. I thought you meant like deep understanding.
Like a-
No, I know.
Like a formal professional development.
Right,
It's like,
no.
Oh,
no,
okay.
What, you
No,
know, what classes have you taken?
Yeah.
I understand. That's- Thank you.
You're welcome.
Move on to the consent agenda, approval of school citywide board minutes from January 27, 2025, regular board meeting minutes, and the finance meeting minutes. Approval of the claim for the month of February, the amount of $1,085,271.47. Approval to accept donations, donation from an anonymous donor to the Whiting Gospel Band, 2 training tables from the Crown Point School to the athletic department, $120 donation from Taylor White to the Whiting High School Choir, $100 donation from Loretta and John Bach to the Whiting High School Band in the area of Jack Shade, $40 donation from Jane Lorenzo to the Whiting High School Band in the area of Jack Shade. $100 donation from Jeff and Tammy Clemens to the Whiting High School Band in memory of Jack Shade. $20 donation from Henry and Paula Timko to the Whiting High School Band in memory of Jesse Mirando. $100 donation from George and Celeste Saligan to the Whiting High School Band in memory of Jesse Mirando. $1,000 donation from multiple donors to the Whiting High School Band in memory of Jesse Mirando. $20 donation from Sean Turpin to the Whiting Middle School girls basketball team. Approval to accept personal report. Motion to approve all consent agenda items as presented. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
A second?
Second.
Motion by Patty, second by Thomas. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. New business, approval to award base bids for the football field project. Motion.
Second.
Motion by Tom, second by Patty. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
Yes, we have Chris here from Skillman to answer any questions you might have. When are you starting?
Mid-May or sooner. We're gonna send out notice to proceed when I get back to the office, and then that'll start the submittal process. We'll bring you colors, line striping, things of that nature for someone to pick out. I'm colorblind, so I can't do that for you. And we'll procure the turf, and
So if you
Mid-May.
start mid-May, when will the football field be ready to utilize again?
the substantial completion will be end of July, and it'll be open for first practice, first game. We're not hearing of any lead time issues with the turf, so we're in good shape. We have a great contractor as well. I do have some copies if anyone would like the letter recommendation and bid tab.
We got it.
Okay.
We got it.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Great evening.
Thanks. Thank you.
Need a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Oh, aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Kindergarten roundup will be on March 30th, 2025. February 24th, 2025, rollout stop at by Julie Pearson.
Okay.
And March 28th, 2025, parent university by Julie Pearson.
Okay, if you go to the next one. So the Stop It app is a mobile app that's also will be downloaded on the students' computers. It's available, you can go to the website, but it's basically the anonymous reporting app. So there's different versions out there after Sandy Hook. There is one through their organization, but this is one that we were actually able to get free of charge for at least until the end of next school year. That some other districts are also using. So Hanover Central just started using it, Griffith is using it, and I believe Hammond is gonna start using it. But you can use it, it's basically anonymous reporting, which is what we want, and the really great thing about it is you can include images, text, or video, so you can upload that. And again, it's anonymous, so students, families are more comfortable reporting. The incidences we've had this year, they usually come to me or one of the administrators, which isn't the best way, it's usually through a parent. So this is a great way, we need to have one. So it's, this is what we're going to move forward with. So just a little bit of information about it. Yes, so things you can report, you can, really it's for anything. The purpose is really for violence, threats, or weapons, alcohol or drug-related issues, threats to harm self, which is a big one. So if I knew my friend was maybe thinking of harming themselves, you could report it anonymously. Harassment, cyberbullying, bullying. We currently have a way to report for cyberbullying and bullying, but this is also anything can be reported through here. And then how it works is somebody could submit via the mobile app, the website, or the 24/7 phone hotline. Then they have, this organization has an incident response center that monitors and reviews the submission. So they are 24/7, 365 days a year. they are the ones who are the first ones to see it. And then from there, they do an assessment of that, and then they will inform us. So whoever the designated school administrators will receive, and then we would act on whatever the tip is. So kind of just the timeline then for rolling this out. So Mrs. Scroggins had applied for the grant through the Service Center, and we found out at late November 2024 that we received the grant and that it's covering us through next year. December was when we were assigned an account support, so literally that happened right before winter break. So it's relatively new. January 2025 was when Dr. Howe, myself, and the 3 administrators and our SRO met with our account support person to kind of review how it works, because it was new to me as well. And then we went over the roles, like the different roles that everyone will have, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then what are our next steps? So from that, we had to set out kind of what is our goal for when we're gonna roll this out. We said it February 24th, everything is ready to go, and all of the people who are involved in it have been notified and are doing training. But obviously, we didn't want to roll it out to students without having the people who are going to be informed trained. So we're like, the simultaneousness of that wouldn't work. So March 18th, when we have our parent university, is when it's going to be the initial start date. Everyone who is involved on our end who will be helping with that will have received the training and will have met to kind of go over procedures. But March 18th is, we will share it with students, families at Parent University, and then also in-house, sharing with the students how they can do that. So then there's different user roles. So you have just obviously set up is the lead administrator, so that's me. I'm our district safety specialist. If you didn't know, safety specialists have to go through training every year. You have to be certified. I also serve on our Lake County Safe Schools, so every school in Lake County, charter, public, they are all supposed to be a part of our Lake County Safe Schools, and I serve as secretary on that commission. So it's helpful because I'm the minute taker, but also because I get a lot of the information and can see what's happening across all the districts. So I'm the lead administrator, so I have access for the entire account. Thank you. And I did all the initial setup, so getting everybody entered, reaching out to our local PD, all of that information, getting our social workers, counselors, principals, and Officer Tokash, just so we all know kind of what our role will be. And then lead incident manager is really anybody can then view and manage the incident. So when it's reported to us, it's also visible. We are able to log in, we're able to see what was reported, we see images, we see video, all of that. So all the principals, myself and Officer Tokash, we are obviously all able to see that. Then you have just the organization incident manager, and again, that is able to access the data. I should add, Mr. Tokash and I are the first 2 who will receive notifications, so we are always on every notification because he's our SRO and I'm our district safety specialist. So anytime any report is made, it will come to the both of us immediately. And then lastly, the assigned only, that would be if we had a student who was, it was reported possible self-harm and they deemed it to be a viable threat. Obviously, we would probably want the counselor or social worker, but it wouldn't necessarily be something every counselor and social worker needs to see. So really to respect the privacy, we can say, okay, you're the high school counselor who's worked with the student, you would have access to that, but not every counselor and social worker would need to. So it's really to protect privacy, confidentiality, and only, as it's needed. And then additional information, we can add resources on the website and in the app. So that's something, we want to get it rolled out. They gave us a list of a few. We have some in-house that we would add. We have a whole PDF document that we use when meeting with parents and offering resources, so we will add that. That will be available on the app before parents and students have access to it. Law enforcement are notified, so there has to be a number. Obviously, even though we'll be notified outside of the school hours, they would contact, if it was a viable threat, they would contact 911. So there's 2 ways they would contact. It's not 911, it's the emergency number for Lake County, but it would be if we didn't answer, or also if we answered and it's a Sunday afternoon, I'm at the dog park, and I'd say, I'm not able to respond to this right now, and can you please notify law enforcement to proceed? So in both of those cases. And then their response time is amazing because, again, it's less than a minute. They get this information, it's 24/7, they are responding immediately. So that was kind of our concern when we were looking at what app to use, because you can find any app, but someone has to respond to it. So you obviously, if we're talking about school threats, safety for everyone, self-harm, you have to have a system that is immediately someone's going to respond to it, and there's not a 2-day lag because it's the weekend. So the way they have it set up is very, if for any reason we don't respond, which they don't expect you to on the weekends, one of us would, but they will immediately, if they deem it to be a viable threat, they will immediately contact that emergency number that we've given them. So then, as we said, we're gonna roll this out for the first day with families. It'll be at our parent university. So this is the second one we've had. We had one last year, it was our first ever. We had a decent turnout. We focused on really just, basic parent information. So RDS, Google Classroom, how to access your child's grade book and make sure you're monitoring, things like that. This time our focus, so I will be a session, it'll be breakout sessions. We have Stop It Solutions, so I will be talking about that, informing families. Mrs. Nolan Higgins will be doing registration for the 21st Century Scholars, so 7th and 8th grade. We want to get as many kids registered as possible because it's a great opportunity for students to be able to afford college in Indiana. So she will be in our Nathan Hill gym helping get students and families logged on, because it can be difficult for parents to navigate. And Mrs. Nolan Higgins also has a middle schooler, and she said, it was hard for me to fully understand it, some of the things. So we've worked out those just to be able to help the families. And then Mr. Anderson will be doing the 9th grade student orientation, and he's really going to be talking about the new graduation requirements for upcoming freshmen, so students who will be graduating in 2029. What are some of the course requirements? Basically, how does it look a little bit different than what they're used to in middle school? So we're really trying to target 7th and 8th graders, and those 8th graders obviously going into 9th grade, and really promoting it for them. And then we're also going to have a resource fair. So we have our social workers and counselors are working on just different, whether it's mental health, Franciscan. We have I just forgot the name of them, that they come to our preschool and kindergarten roundup and big health links, and just, looking at, resources for families. And then the Alps last year, they were amazing and provided a free spaghetti dinner. We had spaghetti for days. We said we were expecting 50, but they made enough for probably 200. It was amazing. So we are working with them to provide dinner for the families, because we know as a family, especially this time of year, dinner time, I'd be more likely as a parent to go if I knew there was food I could eat, I could listen, get that information. So we do have, this is not the correct QR code, I have the link, but the QR code it hasn't updated, but we send these home, we put it on our website, we put it on our social media, and parents can just on their phone sign up. Last time we had a lot of parents that just showed up, they didn't register, and that's okay. I mean, we would rather have that than people not come. So, if they can register, just to give us an idea of, how many will be there, that's great, but if they don't, that's okay too. And, we don't want to have set times, because realistically, again, a lot of you have kids, it's just not, you plan on being there at 5:30, but that doesn't always work. So they can, come, start with resource fair and kind of work their way through. And then we also provide it in Spanish, so we have translators that will be at every session. So we send out everything in Spanish as well. So again, that is our 80% Hispanic families in our school alone, so we want to make sure that it's accessible for them, and we're able to help them access the resources. So that's where we're at. Do you have any questions about it? I know that was a lot of information. Any questions?
I just want to comment, I love that app.
Yeah.
That's great, yeah, that's a great idea.
And we did look at,
Civil rights really like it too.
yeah, we did look at some different ones, and actually last year we were trying to figure out a way, because our bullying, really it just goes directly, it's a form, it's a Google form, it goes to us, so we see it in an email. But that's great, but when you're talking about threats to school, a lot of those, I had a parent was texting me at 4:30 in the morning, right? She's like, hey, this is what my child saw. which is great, but we wanna have, what if I didn't see it? I'm sleeping, like, I'm up, but what if I wasn't? So we wanted to have a way that we know it's, you know, people are seeing it and that they are responding and that then they're notifying us, and that if they weren't to get hold of us, they are going to act on it because they've determined it's credible. But also I like that then the kids, when we talk to the kids about it, they know. It may be anonymous, however, the police will get involved. And so just knowing, like, it's not something to play with, like, it's, again, it may be anonymous, but there's always, at the end of the day, if we need to get back to it, we will. And so it kind of takes away, like, we need this, it's important, but also, like, it's not something to joke with. So I'm very excited about it. I think it's user-friendly, at least from what we've done. The rollout has been really good, just in terms of the training. The staff, the counselors, social workers, principals, we're excited about it to have this. So hopefully it'll be a good rollout. And Maggie's awesome because she's putting it on it'll be available on all of the Chromebooks for the kids as well. So
That's great.
very appreciative.
Thank you, Julie.
Okay, thank you.
Now he's coming.
Approval to accept security quotes, these are for the door access. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Patty, second by Rena. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of district E-rate filing for filing and firewall.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Chris, second by Patty. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Explain some of this.
I can explain it if you want. I mean, I have
How would you-
Okay.
I put together a little info thing. Alright, so, I wanted to start with a little introduction, because I know a lot of you guys don't know me. My name is Maggie Ginsler. I, started here at Whiting in August 2023. Since starting here, the tech team has made a lot of changes. We got new video intercoms in November of 2023. We started a new ticketing system for technology and maintenance in November of 2023. A new phone system in December of 2023. New printer fleet in July of 2024. We ran private fiber from the K-12 building to the admin building here. We got a grant for antivirus for CrowdStrike just this last August, and we most recently did a whole network replacement here at the admin building and at the K-12 building. So for the door access, our server at this point is basically a goner. We have like an on-site server that when you like access the software to change things in the door access system, it'll pop up with like this random error, and the only way to get rid of it is to completely close out of it. You have to like reboot, and during that time, the doors don't work. It hasn't really caused much of an issue because it's downtime, but it's only a few minutes. Nobody's complained yet or that they couldn't get in, but we immediately started calling to have them come out. They haven't been able still to give us a solution to get this system back up and running. So they did provide us with a quote for replacing the system. And there are other issues with it as well, not just the server. There's also 2 door panels that are down. So certain, like, doors don't work for new cards once we add them. Those servers don't get any updates, or those panels don't get any updates, so those doors with new cards don't register at all. So any of like the new police officers that come in, they have to find a door that actually works before they can get into the building, which in an emergency, there's not really time for So the new system that we're getting, it does integrate with our current lockdown system, and it integrates with our door intercom system, so that they can just like easily unlock it. They already have that set up, so that's pretty easy, but it's cloud-based, unlike a physical server on site. So we can make changes from anywhere, just going to the right website. And if like the building burns down or something like that, like there's no loss of the data. You can even like remotely unlock the doors if you know somebody's coming in and you know they need to have it. They're there, nobody's there to let them in, you can unlock it for them. It has Bluetooth unlock, so the swipe cards will be phased out eventually. At least that's our plan. With our new printers, they don't use the swipe cards anymore either. They can use a PIN number. So as people like lose or break their swipe cards, our plan is to kind of just fade them out. Because they're really expensive cards. I mean, they're about $50 a card. And then it's easy to like grant and revoke credentials, since you can do it from anywhere. It has better alerting systems, like it'll tell you if somebody like holds the door open for somebody else, like the piggyback alerts, that's what that's called. And then we have the option to add more doors. Since our system's so old right now, that's not really an option. It's so, like, they don't really sell that stuff anymore, so we can add doors, and it has things like the automated gates built in. And I'll explain more on the next slide. With the new bus, they wanted to get like maybe an automated gate at the transportation building into the parking lot. And with the camera that ties into this system, it can scan license plates instead of having somebody swipe their card at the door or the gate. We can throw a camera up on this building that'll like read the license plates as it drives past. And then if it's an allowed license plate, it'll open that gate.
So the other two things, the doors on Oliver Street, that's by the concession, do not currently, you can't swipe those. So, and the gym, the main gym, there are only master keys that will unlock, and we don't want anybody to have master keys. So we're looking at the replacement at the end of this construction period right now to see what money is left to replace those doors so they can then be on this system.
Yeah, it'll open it up for a lot of additions. So the one we proposed would be the 10-year license. And then we also had a 5-year option, and then Tri Electronics is the company we're currently using, and they quoted us a bit higher, so. For the E-rate that we were just about to go over, this is just a kind of an explanation for the Category 2 funding. So Category 2 is just for network hardware, and we already put out the bid back in October. So this is just kind of like, we received 7 bids, and we're going to make a decision based on that. It's for a new firewall for the K-12 building that also extends to here. So we were gonna go with NSI. We've used them in the past. They're a really, really great company. They know our network, and they aren't gonna be installing it, but they will be able to help if we need it in any aspect. And then the final thing is the Chromebooks. So we are on a 5-year replacement plan for the classroom Chromebooks. We would need to purchase about like 400 to stay on track with these upcoming tariffs and everything that are happening. We would typically purchase 300, but we have Lenovo devices that are stateside right now that won't get any hit of tariffs, so we're gonna get a couple extra in case we can't get as many next year. So the Chromebooks with the licensing would be that $106,800. And that was everything we had on tech.
Thank you, really impressive.
Thanks.
You're doing a wonderful job.
Thanks.
Chromebooks.
Second?
Motion by Tom, second by Patty. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval to provide 2025 summer school programs as presented, Nathan Hale, June 9th to June 27th, Whiting High School, June 9th to July 3rd. Motion?
Motion.
Second? Motion by Chris, second by Reno. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of 2025, 2026 student registration dates and events. In-person registration, August 4th and 6th, 1 o'clock to 3:45 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. Online registration, July 22nd to July 30th. Motion?
Second?
Motion by Tom, second by Patty. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? First reading of the OLED policy updates. PO 5111, determination of legal settlement and eligibility for enrollment of students without legal settlement in the corporation proof of Indiana residency. PO 5500, student conduct. PO 5610, suspension and expulsion of students. PO 6250, required ADM counts for the purpose of state funding and verification of residencies for membership. PO 7540.03, student technology acceptable use and safety. PO 7540.04, staff technology acceptable use and safety. PO 7540.09, artificial intelligence, AI. PO 8420, emergency preparedness plans and drills. This is approval of acceptance of the chain of command.
Motion.
For a second?
Second.
Motion by Chris, second by Reno. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval to accept bus bid.
So let me explain this. This is the school city's requested $181,623 in funding from the BP Whiting Refinery's 2023 BWO consent decree supplemental environmental project to replace existing diesel-powered vehicles with cleaner, less emitting vehicles. So we have a 66-passenger bus that the committee has approved for us to replace. So what we have to do is, once we've identified that vehicle we have, after we receive the vehicle, we have to destroy the motor in the other one. And the school city goes through the Central Indiana Cooperative Purchasing process so that the specs are approved pre-bid through the Department of Education. So we don't have to go out ourselves and get those bids, right? We will, once you guys approve, we will order this. It'll take about 7 months to get this. So it's a propane bus. We don't have propane fuel. So our next step is to go and look at a propane tank and either placing it on our transportation or over at the city where we already fuel our vehicles. The propane tank then will be available to the city, to the parks, to the Cal College through this propane program. We are looking at, there are 3 propane providers in the state, and they can come in and put the tank in at no cost to us. So we're going to be investigating that right now. So recommend you approve the bus bid.
Approve to accept the bus bid. Motion.
I'll make a motion.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Patty, second by Chris. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of overnight field trip request for the JAG students for participation in the State Career Development Conference in Indianapolis with a departure date of March 13, 2025, and a return date of March 14, 2025.
Motion.
A second?
Second.
Motion by Tom, second by Patty. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There's no audience here, so there's no audience comments. Motion to adjourn meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Chris, second by Patty. Any comments, questions, or concerns?